Hello everyone, welcome to the latest episode of the Fancast Prematch. It's me, Little Dan, and this week I've got Super Jordan and Super Kim, and we're all still in the Premier League where we belong. Guys, after our win against Sheffield United the other day, we're back this week for fixture against one of the founding members of the Football League, got Burnley. What's your quick thoughts on that, Jordan?
Obviously, a game of a rich history and not one that we have to create. I think it's fair to say it means more to Burnley this weekend than it will to us in terms of the outcome of the result. They seem to be a bit of a bogey team for us as well, which, the game's usually a bit turgid and they tend to get something from us with it. So, yeah, look, I think it's one of those things where it means a lot more to Burnley at this stage than it does to us. But hopefully we can make it 3 wins on the spin and keep climbing that table and claw back the Villa.
At the time of recording, West Brom are losing again, so Burnley will need 3 points the weekend to try and get a bit of space between them and West Brom. West Brom have got Villa away on Sunday, I believe. What's your feelings in regards to our match, Kim?
I actually think it could be a fairly high-scoring game. Now, I know you're going to think I'm lost the plot, but actually, in the last 4 games, Burnley have scored and have conceded a fair amount of goals. I think it depends on the formation that Wolves play, in essence, as to how the game's going to go. I think if we went with the back 4, which I feel like Nuno won't, but if we did, I think it could be a very open game. I can see a fair few goals. So, yeah, it's as Jordan said, I guess it's a bigger game for Burnley than us. But we need momentum, don't we, going into the Albion game? So, make it 3 wins on the spin, and hopefully we'll finally beat them.
You briefly touched on the leader himself, Nuno. There, what did you guys think to the Daily Mail article that came out this week that says Wolves are looking at a succession plan in case Nuno does leave this summer, being heavily tipped to take over from Jose Mourinho? Jordan?
I don't think there's any. Well, there's always no smoke without fire, and I've sort of speculated now for a little bit of time now that I do fear that he could be gone this summer. Not that we'd sack him, but it almost, in terms of football management, he's been with us for a very long time, and I think that he might want something new. The pandemic's obviously been a struggle on it. He spoke about it. He might want to spend some time with his family. I'm not sure whether I don't see the benefit in leaving Wolves for Spurs. And that again might sound a bit naive, obviously being a London club and that massive stadium, but they've got money troubles. Harry Kane will no doubt leave in the summer as well. I'm convinced of that. So I don't necessarily think he'll jump ship to Spurs. However, I wouldn't be shocked if he wasn't with us at the start of next season, which is quite sad, really. Yeah, I mean, time will tell, but I don't see him leaving Wolves for Spurs, if I'm being completely honest.
What about you, Kim?
Yeah, I feel the same, to be honest, and I don't think Tottenham, after the backlash that they've had from their fans on the style of play, why would they go for Nuno, who has pretty similar got the same sort of style of play as Mourinho, just without the track record of winning the trophies. So, yeah, for me, I don't think it will happen, and I wouldn't want it to happen because I feel that Nuno, despite he has had criticism this season, it has been deserved. I still think he deserves one more season. Fans back in, that old cliche, and I think see what I can do. At least give him the start of next season. First 10, 15 games, and see how we get on. Hopefully, with fans back in.
Let's quickly jump back to the game again on the weekend against Burnley. You briefly mentioned lineups. Willian Jose finally got his first goal against Sheffield United. I know there's still people clamouring for Fabio Silva to start. Who's leading the line for you guys this week, Kim?
Now, I know I always come on this show and say I think Fabio should start, but I think this game, and considering that, Burnley have got a strong in the air. We need a strong aerial presence up top. Now, Willian has obviously scored in his last two, although one was offside against Fulham, though it wasn't. So essentially, he should be high in confidence. And yeah, I'd fully expect Nuno to start with Willian, and then I guess Podence and Traoré. There's not much. Unless he starts changing formation, there's not no one else really to start, I don't think, up top.
What about you, Jordan?
Yeah, I echo those thoughts. I think I'd start with Willian Jose against these because, the big, powerful, imposing centre halves, and it's not even just that; they're experienced centre halves as well. And yeah, well, I think that, we've seen how our games are with Burnley. Like, even when we've been on our best, with our best 11, people fit, Jimenez up top, they're quite scrappy affairs. And I think that, Willian Jose, I think he's looked better as well for his, the goal against Fulham. I know again it was disallowed, and against Sheffield United, I thought he's been all right. I think he's played quite well in those games. So I think you're going to see that now, really, to the end of the season. Still don't think we're going to sign him. However, if he goes on a run now and gets, I don't know, let's say he gets 5 out the last 7, I think there's an argument there for the money that we might look at it because, if he returns 7 goals since the start of January, yeah, it's not fantastic. Well, actually, no, it's decent, isn't it? Like, I think for what we're after, I could see he's probably spending the money, but he's got to go on a run of goals himself now.
If I put you on the spot at the moment, Willian Jose to sign in the summer or Rafa Mir coming back, what's your preference there?
To be honest with you, I think Rafa Mir is done in terms of it's just that chapter's gone. I like the rumours of Carlos Vinicius from, well, he's obviously on loan at Spurs at the minute with Benfica. I know people are saying, oh, well, he ain't very good. But the reality is he's been behind Harry Kane all season. And what I've seen, I kind of like. And, apparently now Benfica are after £20 million for him or €20 million or something. So, if we, they're after Vinagre, I think it makes sense. I think it's sensible business for us to swap Vinagre for Vinicius, to be honest with you. That's what I would like to see personally at this stage. And there's been talk today about Rafa Mir going to Valencia, and there's getting Kangin from Valencia as well, which again, swap deal. We know we're going to be doing stuff on the cheap, or at least swapping and loan to buys and all that sort of stuff. So I think there's probably truth in that, especially with Mendes having strong links with Valencia as well.
Yeah, the Mendes merry-go-round will be in full effect this summer, I think, especially outgoings at Wolves. It's just hopefully we get some decent players coming in. What's your opinion on Rafa Mir? Is that chapter done, Kim?
See, I'd like him to be given a chance. Now, I agree with Jordan on Vinicius from Tottenham. I saw some Wolves fans saying, why would we want him? And, it's like, I don't know who we think we are sometimes. But personally, I haven't seen enough of Willian Jose to say that we should. Is it 22 million? For me, I wouldn't waste the money almost personally, unless he pulls up some trees in the next few games. Then maybe. I think Rafa Mir should really be given a chance. Like we've barely seen him play, and obviously he's had a decent season in the league or in a struggling team. So for me, I'd save our cash and send and use the cash wisely in other positions. Bring back Rafa Mir and send Jose back, and then fingers crossed Raul's back to our number 1 striker with Fabio's backup too. So yeah.
Before we go to our weekly betting suggestions, what's your feelings going into the game, score prediction wise? Just what's your score prediction, and then we'll tell people how to win some money on the back of that.
For me, I think if as boring as it sounds, I think it could be 0-0. I know in my betting selection I haven't gone for that because that'd be very, very boring and very low odds. I do think it could be a 0-0 game. However, as well, I can see the other side of that coin. What Kim's saying, where it could be high scoring, and when we get onto my bet of the week, you'll see there's some goals in that one as well.
You can get the draw 11-5. What's your feelings, Kim?
I actually think it's going to be a high-scoring game. I'm going to go 3-1 to Wolves. I can genuinely see that Burnley have been a bit open in the last few games. And I know it's a big ask for us to actually score 3 goals, but I can see it. I can see us sort of caving them apart. They don't have the most fast, skillful players ever. You know, with our pace, with Traore and Cadence, I can see us catching them on the break and hopefully, I'm optimistic.
I think on last week's episode, it was the first time since we've been doing this that we all predicted Wolves to win. So that was nice. I think I was the only one who had Willian Jose first goal scorer, but none of us got the correct score. You just said 3-1 there, Kim. What's your bet suggestion for this week?
Right, this is going to win you a big £100. So Wolves to win the game, over 2.5 goals, and Loughton and João Moutinho to be booked.
100-1 for a £1 stake. Nice little earner there. Loughton's going to be coming up against the Dharma opponents the majority of this game, so there's a good chance he can get booked. I think Moutinho always has a booking in him as the game sort of becomes a bit more open. Where's your money this week, Jordan?
Yeah, I'm not going to be boring and say 0-0. Because that ain't going to get you any beer money either. So I am going for Leander Dendoncker to get the first goal. So Leander Dendoncker first goal scorer. Wolves to win 3-0, 140-1. I know people on here will be saying, oh, you know, he's the Belgian Dave Edwards. And that's exactly why he's going to score first this week. He's going to get his big Swede on an Adama cross. And we're going to take over the game and batter them. Because you know what? We owe Burnley one, I think. I really, really do.
I'd like to think so. I just hope our players after that win against Sheffield United haven't got their what's the saying? They're not already on the beach.
Yeah.
Like saying Burnley need the points down. I hope we're not already on the beach. I think there's the old saying in sort of our nation where when two buzzes come at once. That's that old saying. I fancy Willian Jose to score again this week. I'm going for Willian Jose to score 2. Wolves to win. Connor Cody and Eric Poiters both to get booked. And you can get that at 600-1.
He always has to
£1.
be
6. Eric Poiters coming up against Adama Traore. Connor Cody's got a bucket.
Stick every week.
What was that?
More unrealistic every week.
All I know is I predicted Willian Jose to score last week. None of you two did. So, as always, bet small, win big. Willian Jose to score 2. Wolves to win. Connor Cody and Eric Poiters to get booked 600-1. Let's talk Fantasy Premier League. I know I didn't have the greatest week last week. How did you guys do? Tell us about it.
Don't think I've even opened the app. I think I've given up.
Gameweek's still going on as we speak, so I can't give you a final points total. At the moment, I'm on 68 points, but I've got Castagna and Inacio playing as we speak, so fingers crossed that gets me over the 70.
Yeah, I'm sort of similar to you, Jordan, where we're on the beach, but it's Blackpool Beach. We don't want to be abroad on our holidays, but we're there already because of how poor we're doing. This week, who are you looking at sort of captain and differential wise?
For me, I have picked my team this week. So captain, I'm going with Mo Salah at home to Newcastle. Newcastle have won the last 2, and you'd probably say they're about safe now as well. So Liverpool need the points. Newcastle aren't very good. And Salah got rested last game, so I think he's going to come back, vengeance, he might get that trick, who knows. That's what I'm planning on anyway. My differentials this week, I've actually made 2 transfers, taken -4, and I'm going to call them both differentials, and they're actually both Wolves players as well. The one of fixtures we've got. So I have brought in Nelson Semedo and Ryan Aitnuri, because I think we're going to carry on with the 5 now to the end of the season. They both are going to express themselves going forward, and we've got clean sheet potential. And anyone who knows my team will realise this weekend I've got 2 Wolves defenders, 2 Burnley defenders, and Nick Pope in goal. So fancy-wise, 0-0 would not be too shabby.
I think, if you remember correctly, Kim, earlier on in the season, Jordan went heavy on a 3-man Burnley defence with a joy from West Brom in one game week fixture, and I think that went terribly wrong. So I'm going to ignore his defensive differentials there. Where are you looking this week, Kim?
So I'm saying that Iheanacho against Palace is the obvious and probably differential captain for me, and I probably will go for him. Obviously, you've got Salah and Jota, but I'm not feeling Liverpool at the moment. When I've watched them, I think going forward, they don't look great. Now, I know Salah's always likely to score, but he's just looked really, I think, out of form for me. So, although I've got Jota, I'll be leaving him as just a player in my team rather than captain. In terms of my differentials, I am going to say Maddison, who is starting tonight. So if he gets a return, I would imagine he will start against Palace. He looks like he'll get his place back in the team. And then one that I wasn't going to mention, but it could be a good differential, is Pereira from West Brom. I won't be picking him just because I won't, but he has got his form's 10.0 and he's only 5.4 million, maybe roundabout. So it's probably a good pick, but for me, I won't be picking any West Brom players.
For me this week, I've got -4 points. I had 2 free transfers from last week. I've gone heavy on Liverpool. This week, my midfield will have Jota, Mane and Salah all in it. I'm going heavy on Liverpool this week to battle Newcastle. My differential is similar to what you just said, Kim, but a bit different. I'm going for Ollie Watkins at home to West Brom. I think he's definitely going to score against them this weekend, and I think that's going to be the sort of fixture which really puts a nail in Albion's coffin this Premier League season. Just want to quickly ask both of your opinions on the saga that occurred this week with the Super League. Wolves Burnley, founding members of the Football League. Did you either of you actually see this happening, or was it literally too much of a long shot for this to get passed through?
I thought, again, you only hear from the news, don't you? The fact of how quickly the traction came and the rumours came, and then there was all that announcement on the Sunday night. I genuinely thought that it was done. And I still think it's still going to play out because the lizard man Perez at Real Madrid ain't giving up, is he? Laporta at Barcelona's not giving up on it. I genuinely think that there's, if they wanted to get it done this summer, and there's this money that's been put on the table, if they sign contracts, I think there's going to be so much legalities, and they could get sued by the ESL, and I think it's going to get really ugly, to be honest with you. And let alone that, I hope they'll get punished by the Premier League as well. But I did fear it was going to happen. I'm glad it hasn't happened, and we need to make sure it never happens again.
Kim, what's the fair punishment for these sides?
It's a tough one to answer, isn't it? I suppose. I mean, I personally feel that they have to be punished somehow. They've literally broken the rules, and they've only come back because of the fan reaction. They would have gone ahead if there was no reaction to the changes. They would have literally just gone ahead with it. Took the money. So it's difficult because it obviously wasn't the players or the coaches, but the only way that you're going to punish them really is points, because if you punish them with money, they've got millions of pounds anyway, so it's not going to make a difference to them, is it? So you've either got to kick them out of the Champions League, or dock them points in the Premier League, or whatever. Although it's probably not fair on the players, there's got to be some sort of repercussions. They can't just come swanning back into the league now after all this. So it'll be interesting to see. And I agree with George. I don't know if it's the end of it, there's gonna be more twists and turns. There's changes in the Champions League as well that they're making, which are kind of going under the radar. So yeah, I guess it's a watch this space, but I would definitely punish them.
For you viewers out there, we did an actual Fancast special earlier on in the week with Luke, Andy, and Matt. A good over an hour episode that was. To listen to that a bit more in depth, go to all the podcast outlets and our YouTube channel where you can see that again. Just a quick thank you to the Sports Shop Kings Winford for continuing to support us, and hopefully win against Burnley, and we can start having a bit of a fun lead up to the Black Country Derby next weekend. Thanks for having you on, guys, and take care of yourself.